Jacob Small, chairperson of this afternoon's proceedings. We also welcome our two orators, Mrs.
Hand in hand, let's celebrate our country, the best we have to give. We feel so proud to be St. Lucian, in paradise we live. And we all have to work together to serve the land we love. Wherever you may roam in this world, is home you're thinking of. Forward together, let's unite. Hand in hand, let's celebrate our country, the best we have to give. We feel so proud to be St. Lucian, in paradise we live. And we all have to work together to serve the land we love. Wherever you may roam in this world, is home you're thinking of. Forward together, let's unite.
Remain standing for the arrival of the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome for our 2022 award recipients. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the entrance of their excellencies, Mr. Errol Charles, Acting Governor General of St. Lucia, and Mrs. Anicia Charles, followed by the national anthem of St. Lucia. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly remain standing as we thank the Royal St. Lucia Police Band for their rendition under the distinguished baton of Assistant Superintendent Mr. Reynold Fenelon. We now invite Father Michel Francis to lead us through the invocation.
God is love. In the desire to make us share in this love, he sent his Son into the world to come to our aid and in gentle kindness to help those who were weak, sick, or unfortunate. In his great love for all of us, Christ said that whatever we do for the least among us, we do for him. He called those who show mercy blessed of his Father and promised them eternal life. Let us then pray for the Lord's richest blessings on the government and people of St. Lucia as we celebrate our 43rd anniversary of independence, especially on those who will be recognized for their long and meritorious service. Let us pray. Blessed are you, Lord God of mercy, who through your Son gave us a marvelous example of charity and the great commandment of love for one another. Send down your blessings on these your servants, who so generously devote themselves to helping others. When they are called on in times of need, let them faithfully serve you in their brothers and sisters, through Christ our Lord. Join me in praying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly take your seats as we welcome Mrs. Mauricia Thomas Francis to the lectern to deliver the opening remarks in her capacity as Chair of the 2022 National Awards Committee.
Your Excellencies, Acting Governor General and Mrs. Anicia Charles, Honorable Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, Speaker of the House of Assembly, Claudius Francis, Your Excellency Dame Paulette Louisy, Governor General Emerita, Cabinet Ministers and Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Cabinet Secretary and Permanent Secretaries, heads of public services and commissions, fellow members of the National Awards Committee, recipients of the 2022 Independence Awards and their guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Despite my predilections, I find myself chairing the National Awards Committee for yet another year. And since this is a predicament largely of my own making, I must confess that it is a great honor to be asked and a privilege I obviously find difficult to refuse. Certainly, one of the highlights of this call to national service is the warm welcome I now extend to you on behalf of the 2022 Awards Committee. This calling is no small task. It represents countless hours of dedication and deliberation by dozens of people who toil long into the night to get us to this gathering. And so, I am personally grateful to each and every one of them for such invaluable work. It is no small task sorting through some 115 submissions, a record number achieved this year. Such high participation rates suggest that these awards are increasingly cherished, both by those who nominate candidates and those who eventually receive them with the pride and dignity you will witness on this day. It is that very thought which keeps us going. That belief in our own pride and dignity as tangible manifestations of a patriotism which keeps us striving as a committee, as a community, and as a nation. In the midst of all the noise and fury of the world, we must hold firmly to such values as our unbreakable bonds to this land and to each other. The world beyond is a tumultuous place, racked by all manner of disorder, economic uncertainty, a crippling pandemic, a despotic war in Europe, something we thought we would not soon see again. But here, in this place, which is our home, we have many things to be thankful for. In this young, enterprising island, there are all the ingredients of greatness. There are countless opportunities to create our own sanctuary, a place to preserve our decency and our sanity, our unique identity, and our individual patrimony. This is our hearth, our heartland, a place that resonates with our hard-earned victories, our numerous proud achievements on the road we travel, from adversity to prosperity. And these are our awards, St. Lucia's Awards. And the blessing they most require does not come from any distant legacy, nor any decree beyond our shores. Their validity and relevance derive purely from the importance and sanctity we ourselves accord to them. Together as a society, we make them valid and relevant. All that remains is for us to accord an unfailing dignity and respect to these awards as originally intended, described and enshrined in our law. This we will always owe to recipients past, present, and future, duly selected for the honors they so richly deserve. As we speak their names loudly and proudly, Let us also remember that we are celebrating excellence and dedication. We are declaring chivalry, bravery, and honesty to be virtues we cherish in ourselves as much as others. We are asserting that selfless voluntarism is a critical ingredient in the making of upstanding citizens, stronger communities, and a better St. Lucia. Let us remember also that the Order of St. Lucia is, in itself, an important statement of sovereignty and autonomy, sufficiently important to be created in an Act of Parliament in 1986. Indeed, the order comprises of 7 distinct classes in order of seniority: Grand Cross of the Order of St. Lucia, Knight or Dame Commander of the Order of St. Lucia, St. Lucia Cross, St. Lucia Medal of Honor, St. Lucia Medal of Merit, St. Lucia Le Piton Medal, National Service Cross, and National Service Medal. Accordingly, it is very fitting that the announcements should coincide with our annual independence celebrations, a time when we mark our milestones from past into future and our progress as a nation among other nations of the world. Even as we do so, we acknowledge that we are emerging hopeful from a season of retreat and reflection. Many of us are still coping with uncertainty, distress, and the shadow of untimely passings. But let us also acknowledge that adversity is in our DNA. We meet it head on, we challenge it, we defy it, we triumph, and we move on. Such is our spirit, that despite all woe, we find it necessary to celebrate the triumphant life force of this land and its people. These energies of challenges and triumph draw us together today, driven by an abiding sense of service to community and country. And I hope you who are here and you who are watching will feel those sentiments swell within you as no less than 39 heroic citations are read aloud. This investiture ceremony should further remind us that we are all importantly engaged in the task of nation building. We are not here merely for ourselves, nor do we earn accolades merely by ourselves. We are all here because stepping stones have been laid down by others for others. So, when names are called and deeds are celebrated, we are in fact creating heroes and exemplars. We are saying in one communal voice, by all means, chart your course, blaze your trail, but also open doors so that others may enter thereafter. These awards therefore come with a duty of diligence, and to that we must all bear witness. As with other years, our 2022 awardees comprise a group of illustrious St. Lucians from many callings, such as medicine, the judiciary, religion, the arts, philanthropy, community development, and the public service. Their personal histories remind us that love, generosity, and compassion remain important tenets of our shared St. Lucian humanity. We are not to be distracted by populism, insularity, and partisanship in our quest for a decent, tolerant, inclusive society. It is on that note that I thank all citizens who made it their duty to seek out and nominate their deserving brothers and sisters for this special recognition. Each year, we see the quality of submissions improve, and this is a great joy to all of us. Without such efforts, we would not be here today. In this light, I must express heartfelt thanks to His Excellency, Acting Governor General, Mr. Errol Charles, who has trusted our stewardship in his first year of as Chancellor. Like a good general, he stood with us through the preparatory hours, always knowing when to advance and when to withdraw. Thank you, sir. Finally, I must offer on behalf of all sincere congratulations to the awardees. We thank you. We salute you. We congratulate you. This is your day, and St. Lucia celebrates each and every one of you. We are individually and collectively grateful for your individual contribution to making St. Lucia a better place to live, work, and prosper. I now close by inviting our Chair of Proceedings, Mrs. Barbara Jacob-Small, to preside over the investiture ceremony. Let us welcome her to the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome and enjoy the ceremony. I thank you very kindly.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, Honorable Prime Minister, our honorable parliamentarians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, esteemed recipients, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to accept the baton from Mrs. Thomas Francis, and I will do my best, along with our two orators, Mrs. Natalie Jolie Fannis and Mrs. Tracy Pilgrim George, to get us across the line, the finish line. And now to the formalities at hand. His Excellency, the Acting Governor General, in his capacity as Chancellor of the Order of St. Lucia, and on the advice of the Prime Minister, has been pleased to confer the following awards. In respect of the Knight Commander of the Order of St. Lucia, which will be awarded to the Honorable George Theophilus and Mr. Calix George, please note that the investiture will take place a little later on this year. In respect of the St. Lucia Cross, to Dr. Didacus Jules for distinguished service in the field of education, public, private, and civic development locally and regionally. To Professor Hazel Simmons MacDonald for distinguished service in the field of education, linguistics, locally and regionally. And to Mr. Luther Ronaldo Francois for distinguished service in the field of arts and culture, music. I invite the orators with the citations.
St. Lucia Cross, Dr. Didacus Jules, for distinguished service in the field of education, public, private, and civic development, locally and regionally. Currently serving as the Director General of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, Dr. Didacus Jules has been described as a disruptive, inspirational leader who has built a career on organizational transformation and excellence in the public, private, and civic sectors. Dr. Jules, who is a key player in educational reform in St. Lucia and the wider Caribbean, holds a Bachelor of Arts honors in English from the University of the West Indies, a Master of Science in Curriculum and Instruction from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, an MBA from the University of the West Indies in Barbados, and a PhD in Curriculum and Instruction and Educational Policy from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Dr. Jules' early work in educational transformation had its impact in Grenada when he served as Permanent Secretary for Education and Culture in the People's Revolutionary Government of Grenada from 1981 to 1983. From 1984, he served in an advisory capacity with the National Research and Development Foundation, NRDF, designing the National Literacy Program and establishing the capacity for indigenous research for which the foundation obtained national recognition. He is a former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education in St. Lucia, serving from 1997 to 2004. It was then that St. Lucia achieved a universal secondary education with an increase of an additional 3,000 secondary school places in 4 newly built schools. Dr. Jules served as Chief Executive Officer and Registrar of the Caribbean Examinations Council from 2008 to 2014, where he revolutionized and modernized the council with the introduction of 21st century qualifications in areas such as digital media, green engineering, and agribusiness. He also led a digital transformation program in e-learning, e-testing, and online marketing. Even with a career shift from 2005 to 2008, when Dr. Jules entered the private sector as Vice President of Human Resources at Cable and Wireless, his life's work is dedicated to the development of the region's human potential. His advocacy and commitment to this cause is reflected in his service on a number of boards: UNESCO, UE, CARICOM, the Global Partnership for Education, and the Caribbean Climate Accelerator, among others. Dr. Jules has published numerous scholarly articles and chapters in books, and is currently engaged in the writing of 2 books on educational reform in the Caribbean. In recognition of his distinguished service to education, public, private, and civic development locally and regionally, Dr. Didacus Jules is awarded the St. Lucia Cross. Professor Hazel Simmons McDonald, for distinguished service in the field of education, linguistics, locally and regionally. Professor Emerita Hazel Simmons McDonald is an outstanding St. Lucian scholar, poet, writer, and educator. She achieved the status of Pro Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies in 2007, and in that same year became the first principal of the university's open campus. Earlier administrative roles in the Faculty of Humanities and Education included Head of Department, Deputy Dean Outreach, Deputy Dean Planning, and Dean. She retired in 2014 and is a UE Professor Emerita. Professor Simmons McDonald studied at the University of the West Indies in Jamaica, graduating in 1972 with a degree in education with a special focus on English. She then attended Stanford University in the United States, where in the 1980s she obtained 2 master's degrees in International Development of Education and Linguistics, followed by a PhD in Applied Linguistics. She authored the text, Let's Work with English, Writing in English, A World of Poetry and a World of Prose, which currently serve as CXC texts. She is one of the leading Creole linguists, publishing 2 texts in that field, Exploring the Boundaries of Caribbean Creole Languages, 2005, and Education Issues in Creole and Creole-Influenced Vernacular Context, 2014. She has been credited with the popularization of the Creole movement and the strides that have been made in recent time in developing a language policy for St. Lucia that would include the integration of Creole into the school's curriculum. Her groundbreaking work in establishing a Creole orthography with prominent linguists such as Professor Lawrence Carrington, Jean Bernabe, and Dame Paulette Louisi is said to have established the academic and linguistic integrity of the language. For distinguished service in the field of education, linguistics, locally and regionally, Professor Emerita Hazel Simmons McDonald is awarded the St. Lucia Cross. Luther Ronaldo Fassois, for distinguished service in the field of arts and culture, music. Luther Fassois is recognized across the Caribbean as being among that illustrious group of composers and musicians to have defined the distinctive sound of Caribbean jazz. Jazz as a cultural artifact of the Creole cultural expression coming out of the colonial experience. The work and impact of Luther Fassois has helped establish and cement a space for Caribbean jazz alongside its cousins in New Orleans, France, and across the jazz world. For Creole cultures throughout the Caribbean, he embodies jazz music in general and is revered for his various musical projects, which have spawned a community of disciples of the genre in St. Lucia and the French Antilles. Luther Fassois has maintained a strong interest in researching, promoting, and integrating the folk idioms of St. Lucia and the French Antilles into jazz composition. An extremely versatile musician, Luther Fassois capably delivers on a wide range of instruments, including the guitar, piano, and acoustic and electric basses. But his genius has always been evident in the saxophone and in his legendary complex compositions. He grew up surrounded by music with a self-taught pianist as his father, and his mother was a singer. He learned to read and write music on the violin from age 9. By his teens, he could play the guitar, piano, and acoustic and electric basses. In his mid-20s, he spent 2 years at the Jamaica School of Music, studying and arranging with Melba Liston and Peter Ashbourne. While in Jamaica, he recorded with several artists, including Bob Marley and Peter Tosh, and accompanied the Jamaican folklorist Louise Bennett on a tour of England. He performed the first ever public jazz concert in St. Lucia, and from then, he not only helped develop an appreciation and exploration of jazz, but he began to work with artists in the nearby islands of Martinique and Guadeloupe. He was the driving force behind the founding of the October Jazz Festival in St. Lucia, the potential and scale of which inspired the establishment of the annual St. Lucia Jazz Festival, which remained a feature on the country's calendar for 25 years. A phenomenon of October Jazz was Luther Fassois' ambitious musical collaboration and the formation of the 16-piece West Indies jazz band, featuring musicians from Antigua in the north to Trinidad in the south, and the French islands of Martinique and Guadeloupe in the middle. He has played in music festivals and toured in Germany, France, South America, Taiwan, and Malaysia, among other countries. Luther is a respected composer, musical teacher, studio musician, and performer. For distinguished service in the field of arts and culture, music, Luther Fassois is awarded the St. Lucia Cross. Mr. Train Fassois, son of Luther Fassois, will collect on his behalf.
St. Lucia Medal of Honor, Gold. For eminent service rendered in the field of medicine, regenerative engineering, and life sciences internationally, Dr. Cato Thomas Lawrenson. Named the world's foremost engineer, physician, scientist by the NAACP, Dr. Lawrenson has received numerous awards recognizing his achievements and contributions to science. Renowned internationally in Europe, Africa, and Asia, Dr. Lawrenson is an expert in biomaterials, stem cell science, nanotechnology, drug delivery systems, and the field he founded, regenerative engineering. Dr. Lawrenson is professor of chemical engineering, professor of material science and engineering, and professor of biomedical engineering at the University of Connecticut. He was named one of the 100 engineers of modern era by the American Institute of Chemical Engineers at its centennial celebration for his trailblazing work in the development of polymer ceramics systems for bone regeneration. In his latest work in the field, Dr. Lawrenson has combined polyceramic systems with nanofiber technology to create unique inductive matrices for bone regeneration that involves the design and study of unique three-dimensional systems for tissue regeneration. His work in nanofiber technology has not only created new knowledge and technologies that have crossed over to medicine and biomedical engineering, but also launched new fields outside of medicine. His pioneering technology forms the basis of much research today. Dr. Lawrenson received his BSc in chemical engineering from Princeton University, his MD, magna cum laude, from Harvard Medical School, and his PhD in biochemical engineering, biotechnology from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, where he was named the U. Hampton Young Fellow. He is the CEO of the Connecticut Convergence Institute for Translation in Regenerative Engineering. Dr. Lawrenson is a recipient of numerous awards, including the Springham Medal, the highest award given by the NAACP, the National Medal of Technology and Innovation, America's highest honor for technology, Achievement Award, awarded by President Barack Obama. And he is the first individual to receive the oldest and highest award of the National Academy of Medicine and the National Academy of Engineering. Dr. Lawrenson has worked with the government of St. Lucia to advise the country in its development of science and engineering programs. He was nominated by the nation of St. Lucia at the world stage and received the UNESCO Equatorial Guinea International Prize for Research in Life Sciences for his work in regenerative engineering. For eminent service rendered in the field of medicine, regenerative engineering, and life sciences internationally, Dr. Cato Thomas Lawrenson is awarded the St. Lucia Medal of Honor Gold. Due to extenuating circumstances, Dr. Lawrenson cannot be with us today, but we do congratulate him for this honor. Congratulations, Dr. Lawrenson. Clarence Rambali. For eminent service in the field of agriculture, national development, and philanthropy. Clarence Rambali is a lawyer, politician, and a former Speaker of the House of Assembly. He was called to the bar in 1976. He is the second St. Lucian to have graduated from the Faculty of Law at the University of the West Indies. He established the firm Rambali & Company that has a proud record of doing much pro bono work to assist the poor and marginalized. In 1979, at the age of 30, he became the youngest Speaker of the House to be elected in St. Lucia and the Commonwealth. It is these firsts that make him a St. Lucian trailblazer. He entered elected politics and first served as a member of the House of Representatives for the constituency of Castries Southeast. Mr. Rambali has held the portfolios of Minister of Youth and Sports, Minister of State in the Ministries of Health and Agriculture. Mr. Rambali later served as an opposition senator alongside Sir Julian Hunt. Mr. Rambali is also known for his contribution to agriculture, particularly fishing and banana farming. He remains active in these fields and among the largest employers in the Soufriere community. For eminent service in the field of agriculture, national development, and philanthropy, Mr. Clarence Rambali is awarded the Medal of Honor Gold. And his wife is accepting the award on his behalf. Congratulations. Congratulations once again. Lilia Harrickson, for eminent service rendered in the field of youth and community development, public health, philanthropy. Ms. Lilia Harrickson is a career nurse and nurse educator with over 30 years dedicated service to community and particularly to the youth. Ms. Harrickson began her nursing career with training in the United Kingdom as a nursing cadet in 1955. By 1965, she was a state-registered nurse, and by 1967, a certified midwife. In 1981, Ms. Harrickson graduated as a family nurse practitioner and continued her professional development in the fields of reproductive health, preventative measures in terms of sexually transmitted diseases. She served as president of the St. Lucia Nurses Association from 1972 to 1981 while serving as a district nurse. From 1981 to 1997, she served as a family nurse practitioner with the Ministry of Health. She retired in 1997 to pursue a political career in elective politics, vying for the Micoud South constituency. In 2013, she returned to the nursing profession, serving as a lecturer with Spartan Health Sciences University in the trainee nursing program. There, she assisted the department in developing quality teaching and learning materials and supervised student nurses through the program. As a pathfinder and master guide director, she worked with young people to develop their leadership skills, providing a safe and positive environment for them. She is considered a valuable member of the community of Micoud, who is highly regarded as a leader, mentor, teacher, and political figure. For eminent service rendered in the field of youth and community development, public health, philanthropy, Ms. Lilia Harrickson is awarded the St. Lucia Medal of Honor Gold.
I've just been advised, ladies and gentlemen, that in respect of the Knight Commander of the Order of St. Lucia, a third recipient has been selected, and that is Dr. Winston Paris. In respect of the St. Lucia Medal of Merit Silver, the following awards are being conferred to Dr. Morella Joseph Jean-Baptiste for eminent service rendered in the field of education, administration research, locally and regionally, and community and youth development. To Elizabeth Worrell Satage for eminent service rendered in the field of education, and to Mr. Cassius Elias for eminent service rendered in the field of agriculture and community development. Let's welcome Natalie Julie Fannis once again.
St. Lucia Medal of Honor, Silver, Dr. Morella Joseph Jean-Baptiste, for eminent service rendered in the field of education, administration, research, locally and regionally, and community and youth development. Dr. Morella Joseph Jean-Baptiste is a highly committed educator with over 50 years of experience in teaching, research, instructional development, and educational administration at all levels of the educational system. She holds a bachelor's degree in history, sociology, and education from the University of the West Indies, a master's degree in Organization, Planning and Management in Education from the University of Reading in the United Kingdom, and a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Education from the University of Bristol in the United Kingdom. She began her tenure in education in her home community of Beaufort as an early childhood teacher, as a primary school teacher, and as a principal of the Beaufort Senior Primary School, and then as principal of Beaufort Comprehensive Secondary School. She moved on to serve at the regional level with the CARICOM Secretariat, where she assumed responsibility as Program Manager for Education and subsequently Program Manager for Human Resource Development. Her greatest passion and strongest motivation is the grooming of young people to take on the responsibilities of national development, which has led her to champion a number of educational policies and programs that particularly target the vulnerable sector. She made history in 2000 by becoming the first woman in St. Lucia to date to become the leader of a political party. She also contributed to the governance of the island when she served as a senator in the Upper House of Parliament. She continues to represent St. Lucia with distinction at the regional and international levels on advisory boards and councils. Despite her retirement, she continues to engage in research and consultancies for the advancement of our national goals. For exceptional representation at the regional and international levels, working in the national interest, and for her contribution to education, administration, research, and community and youth development, Dr. Morella Joseph Jean-Baptiste is awarded the St. Lucia Medal of Honor, Silver. Her son, Storm Jean-Baptiste, will accept on her behalf. Elizabeth Worrell Satage, for eminent service rendered in the field of education. Elizabeth Worrell Satage is a career educator and a community leader. She was an avid dancer and dramatist as a member of Les Caraïbes Dance Company, Les Caribel Dance Company, serving as dance choreographer from 1978 to 1985. Her journey as an educator began with an internship at the Cashries Anglican Primary School in 1960, an institution she would return to head almost 3 decades later. She moved on to become a teacher at the Methodist Infant School and later the Carmen Rennie Memorial School. In 1968, she earned the University of the West Indies endorsed teaching certificate and continued to pursue other professional certifications and courses offered by UWI and OCORD. In 1982, she moved into leadership in the education system, serving as acting principal of the Lance Road Senior Primary School, 1982 to 1983, principal of the Rock Hall Senior Primary School, 1983 to 1988, the Vidbutay Primary School, 1990 to 1999, and the Castries Anglican Infant School, 1999 to 2002. Upon her retirement, she applied her teaching skills to adult learning, becoming a facilitator with the National Enrichment Program. Mrs. Satage is also an active member of church and community. She has volunteered and held executive positions in several women's organizations, including president of the St. Lucia Anglican Mothers Union from 1999 to 2013. From 2005 to 2008, she was an executive member of the Provincial Council of the Mothers Union in the province of the West Indies. From 2011, she was the coordinator of the St. Lucia Mothers Union Worldwide Parenting Program. Mrs. Satage also served as the coordinator for the St. Lucia Crisis Center, after-school care and extended support program. She has volunteered with the Marsha Improvement Committee, taught after-school programs for common entrance students and literacy to adults. She hosts a religious program on Risen FM. For eminent service in the field of education, Mrs. Satage is awarded the St. Lucia Medal of Honor, Silver. Cassius Elias, for eminent service rendered in the field of agriculture and community development. So your accolade continues. It's for eminent service rendered in the field of agriculture and community development, national service, social and community activism. Mr. Cassius Elias, an entrepreneur and parliamentary representative, used his talents to the benefit of others. Although Mr. Elias was unable to take up a place at the St. Mary's College after passing the common entrance exam due to lack of living accommodations in Castries, he made the best of all opportunities afforded him. After completion of his primary school education, Mr. Elias was apprenticed to a law firm where he quickly rose to the position of chief clerk. Upon his migration to the United Kingdom, he enrolled at Princeton University and sat for his O-levels and A-levels. He then attended the Holborn College of Law and the Institute of Legal Executives. Unable to complete his professional qualification due to a serious illness, Mr. Elias found opportunities to work as a legal assistant at several prestigious law firms in London. He used his experience to represent immigrant St. Lucians who required support against discrimination and social inequity. He served on several student organizations and founded the Student Investment Club of North London, where he enabled students to earn additional income by investing in stocks. He rescued the St. Lucia Association from debt, division, and charter flight conflicts, and was a founding member of Notting Hill Carnival. Mr. Elias was also instrumental in assisting many West Indian children to achieve better educational opportunities at a time when they were classified as educationally subnormal. After his 10-year stay in the United Kingdom, he returned to St. Lucia in 1974 and set up a number of businesses, emerging as the leading Viewfort entrepreneur and contributing significantly to the economic development of the South. He threw himself into service and was instrumental in the formation of a number of cooperatives and associations related to farming and small business. In 1997, Mr. Elias won his electoral bid as parliamentary representative for Miku South, making history as the one politician to dislodge the long-serving Sir John Compton. He was appointed Minister of Agriculture for his term and immediately got to work on developing a policy document for the ministry. From 2003 to 2006, Mr. Elias was assigned to a diplomatic posting in Martinique to represent the government in the French overseas territories of Martinique, Guadeloupe, and French Guyana. He has published 2 books, Enough is Enough, Compton Stronghold Broken at Last, 2012, and Parliamentary Speeches, 1997 to 2001, in 2015. For eminent service in the field of agriculture and community development, Mr. Cassius Elias is awarded the St. Lucia Medal of Honor, Silver.
In respect of the St. Lucia Medal of Merit Gold, the following awards are conferred on Mr. Protas Auguste for long and meritorious service in the field of arts, music, calypso, to Mr. John Cherubin for long and meritorious service in the field of arts and culture, and to Mr. Richard Anthony Wayne Whitfield for long and meritorious service in the field of arts, broadcasting. Tracy?
St. Lucia Medal of Merit Gold, Protas Auguste, for long and meritorious service in the field of arts, music. Protas Auguste, better known to the people of St. Lucia by his calypso name, the Educator, entered the National Calypso Arena in 1980 after emerging as a 3-time Dennery Calypso King. A year later, he won the Calypso Monarch and Road March competition with the song Memco Aro. He took a break from Calypso to pursue his studies in architectural technology in Jamaica, and in 1987, he re-entered the Calypso arena after completing his studies. In 1989, he repeated his win of a double title as Calypso and Soca Monarch with the song Calypso Tyson. In the last 20 years, Educator has made it in the finals 16 times. In 1997, with the timely and popular Creole song, Let La, he again won the crown. Protas Educator Auguste is described as one of the most consistent calypsonians and one of the best calypso and soca performers in St. Lucia. For long and meritorious service in the field of the arts, Protas, the Educator Auguste, is awarded the St. Lucia Medal of Honor Gold. Medal of Merit. Congratulations, Tyson. John Cherubin, for long and meritorious service in the field of arts and culture. A champion for the La Rose Festival in St. Lucia, Mr. John Cherubin believes that the festival is at the heart of the St. Lucian identity, and he has vowed not to rest until the celebrations has become a dignified and respectful place in the heart of all St. Lucians. He is the founder of the popular La Rose group of Moshi, which has been under his creative direction for the last 32 years. The group is considered one of the most vibrant on the island that has made a determined effort to attract young people by including a different skit and new music in the celebrations. Mr. Cherubin has ensured the survival of the group, extending the participation to the neighboring communities of Gros-Islet and Gros-Rivière. Born and raised in the community of Moshi, Mr. Cherubin has a wealth of knowledge on the history of the community and began his community service from the tender age of 15. Church is at the center of his life, serving as an animator, choir member in the St. Rose of Lima Catholic Church. Mr. Cherubin also visits the sick and the shut-in on a regular basis. As a community activist, he is first president and founder of the Moshi Development Committee and a member of several committees, including the Disaster Committee, the Plebel Village Committee, and the Moshi Community Shop, a project of the Food and Agriculture Organization. For his passion, enthusiasm, mentorship, and advocacy for the survival of the La Rose Festival in St. Lucia, Mr. John Cherubin is awarded the St. Lucian Medal of Gold. Merit of Gold. Vive La Rose. Richard Anthony Wayne Whitfield. For long and meritorious service in the field of arts, broadcasting. Richard Anthony Wayne Whitfield, more commonly known as Wayne Whitfield, has been credited with the modernization of the St. Lucia broadcast media landscape with his artistic and avant-garde creativity. A talented young artist, Whitfield was a member of the St. Mary's College's art troupe and a young apprentice to the renowned artist Dunstan St. Omer. During the time, Sir Dunstan was commissioned to design the minor basilica in Castries. His entry into broadcast media began in 1991 when he joined Daher Broadcasting Service, DBS, one of only 2 television stations on island at the time. He designed and produced DBS News World, giving it a unique approach in terms of both content and visual elements. In 1997, he joined the team of Helen Television Systems, HTS, where he again modernized and redesigned their newscast. Whitfield was also instrumental in the production of Anansi's Challenge, a competitive game show aimed at St. Lucian secondary and primary school children that was the first of its kind in local television programming in St. Lucia. In 1999, with a team of the most talented videographers, editors, writers, and producers, a media production company, Visual Domain Limited, was formed with Whitfield as creative director. The company created award-winning documentaries, television and radio commercials, jingles, and programs for clients locally and regionally. In 2005, the company moved into television with Choice TV, establishing itself as a symbol of new age thinking and modernization in television, with entertaining and youth-centric programming. Under the creative direction of Whitfield, the rebranded parent company, Media Zone Production, Inc., Choice TV has grown to become one of the leading local television stations on island. It has become known for quality live broadcast of events including the live broadcast of St. Lucia Carnival and the St. Lucia Business Awards for many years. Whitfield has also created a number of local programs on Choice TV, which includes the Choice News Now newscast, Solutions, The Daily Buzz, among numerous others. Whitfield has made history, having formed the first television station to broadcast in other territories, such as St. Vincent, Dominica, and Anguilla. Whitfield's vision for the modernization of St. Lucia media has created a dynamic environment that is constantly being improved and upgraded to meet global industry standards. For long, meritorious service in the field of broadcasting, we recognize Mr. Richard Anthony Wayne Whitfield. We give him the award for St. Lucia Medal of Merit Gold. And receiving the award this afternoon is his wife, Anya Whitfield. Congratulations.
In respect of the St. Lucia Medal of Merit Silver, the following awards are conferred on Esther Saltibus Bryce for long and meritorious service in the field of philanthropy and community development, to Patricia Herman for long and meritorious service in the field of education and community development.
Esther Saltibus Bryce for long and meritorious service in the field of philanthropy and community development. Considered a legendary figure in Vieux-Fort for her selfless generosity and love of giving, Esther Saltibus Bryce is also an entrepreneur of renowned repute. Her business ventures, which include Chanel's Family Restaurant and Tats Cakes, employ over 30 individuals, and many well-established businesses have been facilitated through her training and assistance. Her involvement in community activism began from as early as when she was a student at the Vieux-Fort Secondary School. She has been described as a well-rooted philanthropist with an insatiable desire to uplift the downtrodden, marginalized, and the elderly. For the past 30 years, Mrs. Bryce has been involved with and contributed to various organizations, charities, and initiatives, including a feeding program for the elderly, shut-in, and vulnerable, inclusive of an annual seniors lunch and children's Easter egg hunt. She is known as an avid fundraiser and a go-to person for ideas and solutions to problems. Mrs. Saltibus Bryce was one of the first female members of the St. Lucia Cadet Corps. She has been affiliated with the St. Lucia Netball Association, the Mabwea Valley Football Association, the Lions Preschool, Special Ed, and the St. Lucia Labour Party Women's Organization, among others. For her deep passion for assisting the poor and marginalized, and for long and meritorious service in the field of philanthropy and community development, Mrs. Esther Saltibus Bryce is awarded the St. Lucia Medal of Merit Silver. Patricia Herman. For long and meritorious service in the field of education and community development. Mrs. Patricia Herman is a retired teacher with 44 years of teaching experience and an unwavering commitment to serving the community of Denyer-Riviere, Dennery. She joined the teaching service from the tender age of 13 as a pupil teacher and served with distinction until her retirement in 2011. Throughout her career, she went beyond the call of duty to attend to more than just the educational needs of her wards, but also their emotional, spiritual, and financial needs. Many of the current community leaders who now serve both the country and the community in high-level management positions attribute their success in part to Mrs. Herman's impact on them in their formative years. Mrs. Herman has served her church in an administrative capacity for more than 40 years and has been described as the rock of the St. Michael Roman Catholic Church in Larissus, Dennery. Mrs. Herman continued to serve the community post her retirement from the teaching service, and her contribution to community life has been described as selfless. for long and meritorious service in the field of education and community development. Mrs. Patricia Herman is awarded the St. Lucia Medal of Merit, Silver.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we take a temporary suspension from the awards section of today for a little sensory stimulation. A wonderful human being and a phenomenal artist whose presence and whose sound never fails to buoy my spirit, and a lady whom I'm always pleased to introduce as my namesake. Please welcome Miss Barbara Ann Cadet.
Thank you.
semplici, ni la force et quoi, ni confiance et quoi, à la route c'est ti mamma semplici,
Thank you so much.
Sound, thank you. I was saying I like that a lot. And I was saying that perhaps maybe I may make bold and predict that someday soon, Barbara Cadet will not be entering this stage with a saxophone in her hand, but perhaps exiting this stage with one of these lovely little medals pinned to her chest. And I'm saying that perhaps, Barbara, you might have to submit a nomination next year. One of the lovely things about these types of ceremonies where we celebrate the people who have come and who have worked and who have provided inspiration is how the generation that comes after builds on what they do. And one of the things perhaps some of you may not know is that Barbara Cadet scored the entire body of work of Charles Cadet. And so now music like that is officially and properly scored for orchestras to be able to play. So, and we continue with the awards in respect of the St. Lucia Le Piton Medal Gold. The following awards are conferred on Mrs. Thekla de Turville for having performed long and meritorious service in the field of business, education, and sports netball. And to Mr. Gilbert Jean-Philippe Jean-François for long and meritorious service in the field of education and youth development. And I'm extremely pleased, not that I'm biased, but perhaps I am, to say that the award is also conferred on Mr. Yves Renard for long and meritorious service in the field of community development. And now, we have Tracy.
St. Lucia Le Piton Medal Gold. Thekla C. de Turville for having performed long and meritorious service in the field of business, education, and sports netball. Thekla C. de Turville has given national representation to the country of St. Lucia and has made a significant contribution in leadership in business. As a netballer, she represented St. Lucia at the national level and played locally with the All Stripes Netball Club. She later served as assistant manager to a national team and held executive positions of secretary and president of the Netball Association. She has also served as secretary to the St. Lucia Table Tennis Association. In business, she has served on the executive of a number of organizations, including the Small Business Association, the St. Lucia Employers Federation, and the National Research and Development Foundation, NRDF, among others. She is a former president of the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Industry, and Agriculture. Mrs. de Turville worked at senior management levels with Court St. Lucia as credit controller, human resource and corporate affairs director, operations manager, and prior to her retirement in 2009 as general manager. Mrs. de Turville is currently the managing director and owner of Celestial Self-Development Corporation, a training and consultancy business which she launched in 2009. She has trained over 11,000 individuals and held sessions in public and private sector in other Caribbean islands as well. Mrs. de Turville was named the Business Person of the Year in 2007 for having performed long and meritorious service in the field of business, education, and sports netball. Mrs. Thecla de Turville is awarded the St. Lucia L'Epitor Medal, Gold. Congratulations, Mrs. de Turville. Mr. Gilbert John Philippe Je Fossois. For long and meritorious service in the field of education and youth development. Gilbert Je Fossois is a former educator and financial director in regional organizations. He is currently the managing director of Gamma Learning Institute. Mr. Fossois is famously known for his ability to creating educational and career opportunities for a number of young individuals throughout St. Lucia. Mr. Fossois is a proficient accountant and transfers his passion by tutoring young persons with the required knowledge and skills that will lead to gainful employment. He has published 2 books, Principles of Accounts for CXC, Multiple Choice Questions, and 7 Secrets to Debt Elimination, a proven plan. Through presentations and instructional videos, he has imparted secrets and strategies for debt management, money management, and general self-management. Mr. Je Fossois is an active member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, serving as elder for the last 15 years. For long and meritorious service in the field of education and youth development, Mr. Gilbert John Philip Je Fossois is awarded the Medal of Merit, Gold. Congratulations. And may I ask for a signed copy of the 7 Secrets to Debt Elimination? Yves Renaud, for long and meritorious service in the field of community development. Yves Renaud settled in the community of Labrie immediately after Hurricane Allen in 1980. More than 4 decades later, Yves' commitment to the development of the community remains strong. He founded Laboe Promotions to help place arts and culture at the heart of community development. Yves was also instrumental, along with other community leaders, in setting up the Labrie Development Foundation. In 2000, he was involved in the planning and execution of an environmental project named The People and the Sea, a study of coastal livelihoods in Labrie. The project researched the marine environment and management strategies for its sustainable use. This caused an increase in awareness of the need to protect marine resources, particularly the white sea urchin. Labrie's strong community spirit is most endearing to Renaud, who believes that there is nothing more valuable and rewarding than community work. For long and meritorious service in the field of community development, Mr. Yves Renaud receives the Medal of L'Epitor, Gold. Or should I have said the Republic of Labrie?
I would like to beg your leave to ask a question of Mrs. Thecla de Turville. I'd like to know if the offer certification in sartorial eloquence at Celestial Self-Development Center, then I should like to register in that program, and I should like to confer my own personal award this afternoon for sartorial eloquence on Mr. Steckler de Turville. In respect of the St. Lucia Lepiton Medal Silver, the following awards are conferred on Francilia Monica de Turville for having performed long and meritorious service in the field of community development and philanthropy, to Mr. Francis Suraj for long and meritorious service in the field of education.
Francilia Monica de Turville for long and meritorious service in the field of community development and philanthropy. Francilia Monica de Turville, affectionately known as Monica in her community of Cicero, epitomizes a life of service. From the tender age of 13, she began her journey of community service with her mentor, her father, after a storm in 1961 when they went out to assist victims of the natural disaster. Ms. de Turville is well known in her community for giving her all in anything that she does, from creating a registry of the sick and shut-in in the community, to volunteering at the community health center, to operating a soup kitchen that feeds the vulnerable. Her interest in people is considered genuine and comes from a love of people and of God. She uses her own resources at times and is resourceful in finding funds from benefactors to purchase medication for individuals and even ensure that their laboratory investigations are done. She was instrumental in reversing the state of a mentally challenged young man who she ensured got back on his medication, administering it herself twice a day, that now he is off the streets and resides happily with his family. She is a devout Catholic and officer of the Eucharist, a role she embraces with the same level of enthusiasm. In September 2021, she became a Justice of the Peace, a title that simply made her official. She does not charge for her services and is meticulous about following the regulations. She continues to remain an active member of the Cicero Disaster Preparedness Committee and the Cicero Development Committee. For long and meritorious service in the field of community development and philanthropy, Miss Francilia Monica de Turville is awarded the St. Lucia Lepiton Medal, Silver. Francis Suraj for long and meritorious service in the field of education. Mr. Francis Suraj is considered a pioneer in vocational training. His educational journey began at the Joye Combined School in 1953, and 10 years later, after receiving his teacher certification from the Odestein Teachers Training College in Barbados, he became acting principal of the Joye Combined School. He recognized the need for more vocational training then, and proceeded to England to pursue a course in technical education with a focus in electrical installation from the City and Guilds of London Institute. When he returned to St. Lucia in 1970, he was appointed lecturer at the newly commissioned Morn Technical College. He was one of only 3 local lecturers at that time. In 1975, he returned to England and obtained a diploma in Organization and Management of Technical Colleges from the University of Manchester. He continued his work at the college and formed part of a team of technical teachers of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, that drafted the syllabus for technical and vocational studies of OECS technical colleges. Mr. Suraj retired from teaching in 1996 after 44 years of service. Mr. Suraj is a founding member of the St. Lucia Teachers Credit Cooperative and served as its treasurer for many years. When he lived in the community of Auger, he conducted summer courses for junior teachers and gave adult education classes. Mr. Suraj introduced cricket to the Auger Combined School and himself represented the Viewfort Boys Primary School and the district in cricket. A father of 4, he was honored as Father of the Year by the Marshall Improvement Committee in 2002. Mr. Suraj now serves as a Justice of the Peace. For long and meritorious service in the field of education, Mr. Francis Suraj is awarded the St. Lucia Lepitor Medal, Silver.
This year, the St. Lucia Lepitor Medal Bronze will be awarded to Mariana George for having performed long and meritorious service in the field of education and community development, Bernadette Sonny for having performed long and meritorious service in the field of education and community development, and likewise Felix Xavier for having performed long and meritorious service in the promotion of public service and in the field of community development and youth development, martial arts.
Mariana George, for having performed long and meritorious service in the field of education and community development. Mrs. Mariana George has been a preschool coordinator and supervisor at the Marigot Daycare for the last 29 years. She has been devoted to assisting with molding the minds and ensuring that the needs of the young preschoolers are met despite the challenges. She has stayed abreast of emerging trends in the field of education and employed the use of technology in the classroom, particularly during the pandemic. Mrs. George is well known in her community for her years of service and dedication to the Marigot community. Many residents have fond memories of their time at Marigot Daycare or that of their children who they have entrusted to the care of Mrs. George. She is passionate about her service to the community and has selflessly given of her time and resources to the development of the children of Marigot. For long and meritorious service in the field of education and community development, Mrs. Mariana George is awarded the St. Lucia Lepitor Medal, Bronze. Congratulations. Bernadette Sonny, for having performed long and meritorious service in the field of education and community development. Miss Bernadette Sawney, most affectionately known as Teacher Coke, has been a preschool teacher for almost 28 years. Her journey in education started at the tender age of 15 when she taught at the Lacwa Mingo Primary School. She moved on to other jobs, but in 1993, returned to teach at the Sarot Daycare Center. Her drive and passion for young children immediately came to the fore, and 6 months later, she moved to start what is now a staple in the Barra St. Joseph community, Berners Early Learning Center. Teacher Cope takes immense pleasure and pride in building a solid foundation for the young men and women of the community, going above and beyond to ensure their needs are met. She believes that once her students succeed and go on to make meaningful contributions to society, that she has achieved her goal. Her love is reciprocated by past and present students. Outside of her passion for teaching, Miss Sawney has a special connection with her culture and heritage and takes every opportunity to embrace and portray this. There is never a solo band or dance in the community where she is not present. She also loves caring for the elderly, differently abled and challenged individuals in the community. She believes it is her personal responsibility, even though she is not tasked with it. Her heart is genuine, giving, pure, and loving. For long and meritorious service in the field of education and community development, Ms. Bernadette Sawney is awarded the St. Lucia L'Epitor Medal, Bronze. Felix Xavier. For having performed long and meritorious service in the promotion of public service and the field of community development and youth development. Martial arts. Mr. Felix Xavier has been involved in the sport of karate for over 40 years. He established his own dojo, Xavier's Martial Arts Academy, in 1980 and has trained thousands of students from around the island. With his motto, progress through discipline, he facilitated the development of a safe space for children and young adults where they were taught how to be respectful, disciplined, and well-mannered. Mr. Xavier has worked with the Department of Public Service for over 30 years, starting with them in 1988. He has displayed an extremely high level of professionalism and passion for his job. He is a result-driven individual whose interpersonal and communication skills have allowed him to develop productive work relationships. Mr. Xavier has been described as a man of great honor, who has served as a mentor, stepped in as a father figure, and helped change the lives of many through his community outreach. For having performed long and meritorious service in the promotion of public service and in the field of community development and youth development, Mr. Felix Xavier is awarded the St. Lucia L'Epitor Medal, Bronze.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year, the National Service Cross is conferred on Andre Collymore for rendering loyal and devoted service beneficial to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force and the government and people of St. Lucia.
Andre Collymore, for rendering loyal and dedicated service, beneficial to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, the government, and people of St. Lucia. Andre Collymore is currently a confirmed Superintendent of Police, acting in the capacity of Assistant Police Commissioner of Police, ACP. He was enlisted to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force on July 28, 1989, having completed initial police training in that same year. His postings included the Ancillary and Dennery Police Stations, Special Services Unit, SSU. However, the majority of his tenure has been within the Crime Management Unit, where he has worked and thrived, attaining most of his promotions. He is currently the head of crime management with superintendents over Criminal Investigations Department, Crown Prosecution Services, Criminal Records Office, Drug Unit, Scenes of Crime Office, Vulnerable Persons Team, and Major Crime Unit. Acting ACP Collymore has been instrumental in the development of many junior officers into remarkable investigators and supervisors. His policing initiatives have brought about transformation in investigations, resulting in the resolution of many challenging cases. He is known for his unmatched intelligence in bringing closure to cases where defendants persistently evade arrest. He has a stellar reputation for investigating successfully many high-profile cases which resulted in persons being convicted for murder who remain incarcerated to date. His operational genius has been utilized to improve the policing efforts of units such as the Major Crime Unit, which he worked within and headed for many years. As a manager within crime management, he has utilized assigned resources, however limited, to achieve over the course of many years a solve rate which surpassed those of countries with far greater resources. His success can be attributed to his ability to provide guidance to staff through complex investigations and through building trust with the public he serves. His humility and easygoing attitude created strong links with external agencies who would always be willing to assist as a consequence. An exemplary officer who models professionalism and dedication to duty for 32 years of loyal and devoted service, beneficial to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, the government and people of St. Lucia. Acting ASP Andre Collymore is awarded the National Service Cross. And now the awardees for National Service Medal. Answorth Aaron Shalmine. For outstanding and meritorious service to the St. Lucia Cadet Corps. Major Answorth Shalmine has been a member of the St. Lucia Cadet Corps for over 30 years. He enlisted with the Corps while a student at the Entrepot Secondary School. Major Shalmine has attended many training workshops and camps and served in various offices, including unit officer attached to the Entrepot Secondary School, finance officer, deputy, and camp commander. In 2007, he completed his potential cadet officer training in Barbados with the Barbados Defense Force, and in 2010 with the Florida National Guard. In September 2013, he was promoted to the rank of captain and to the post of staff officer. In March 2014, he was promoted to the rank of major. He has represented the Corps as the staff officer to a number of Caribbean Commandants Conferences and Caribbean Cadet Camps. He serves with NEMO as chair of the Damage and Needs Assessment Committee and with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, SEDEMA. He has participated in hurricane relief, search and rescue operations, and other duties for Tropical Storm Debbie, Christmas Eve Trough, Hurricanes Tomas and Elsa. Major Charlemagne has also served as a bomb disposal technician for the ICC Cricket World Cup held in St. Lucia in 2007. Major Ainsworth Charlemagne holds a master's degree in project management from the University of Liverpool, a diploma in construction studies and management from College of Arts, Science and Technology, CAST, and a building technology diploma and certificate from the South Louis Community College and City and Guilds. He is currently employed as the Director of Works with the Ministry of Infrastructure, Port Services and Transport. For over 30 years of outstanding and meritorious service to the St. Lucia Cadet Corps, Major Ainsworth Aaron Charlemagne is awarded the National Service Medal. Lucius George Lake for outstanding and meritorious service to the St. Lucia Cadet Corps. Major Lucius Lake is the longest serving cadet officer to date. He joined the St. Lucia Cadet Corps in 1980 while he was a student at the Entrepot Junior Secondary School. He has served the Cadet Corps in numerous positions, including Unit Officer, Stores Officer, Weapons Officer, Disaster Preparedness Officer, Staff Training Officer, and he presently serves as Deputy Commandant. He was instrumental in developing and implementing many of the administrative forms used within the St. Lucia Cadet Corps, including the Risk Assessment Form. He has been appointed as the Emergency Operations Manager at the National Emergency Management Office, NEMO, where he coordinates recovery efforts. He has volunteered on numerous recovery efforts, including after Hurricane Tomas, where he was appointed as Convoy Commander, Christmas Eve Trough, and Tropical Storm Elsa, where he operated as Emergency Operations Manager. Major Lake has been deployed to Dominica, Haiti, and the Bahamas post-hurricane impact over the last 7 years through SEDEMA. In addition to his participation in numerous regional cadetting activities, Major Lake has fostered regional integration by assisting in the development of the Caribbean Cadet Training Manual. Some of the notable regional cadetting activities attended by Major Lake over the last 3 decades include Caribbean Commanders Conferences locally and regionally, Staff Officer Conferences in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Barbados. Major Lake was a member of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force for 32 years. He retired in December 2021 as Assistant Superintendent in charge of the Immigration Department. He has since transitioned to the Prime Minister's Office in the capacity of Immigration Expert on the St. Lucia Border Control Project. For 41 years of outstanding and meritorious service to the St. Lucia Cadet Corps, Major Lucius George Lake is awarded the National Service Medal. Ruel Nathan Maynard Hyacinth for outstanding and meritorious service to the St. Lucia Cadet Corps. Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Hyacinth was inspired to join the Cadet Corps after witnessing the recovery effort after Hurricane Allen. Upon entering the St. Mary's College in 1985, He enlisted under the command of Second Lieutenant Alvin James. By the end of his secondary schooling, he had attained the rank of sergeant and was awarded for Most Outstanding Cadet at graduation. In September 1990, as a warrant officer, he was given the responsibility for Charlie Company, which saw the development of the company and maintenance of its membership. He was promoted after 3 years and transferred to headquarters as assistant quartermaster. During that time, he was instrumental in the transition to a record-keeping system. In that same year, he participated and performed outstandingly at the Potential Officers Course in Barbados. Since then, he has held the positions of training officer, where he worked on the Regional Cadet Training Manual, which is the main document guiding the Cadet Corps and forces throughout the region. He has also served as adjutant, parade, and camp commander, and he has represented the Corps at various regional conferences. He has worked with NEMO as a volunteer at major disaster responses locally and regionally. He is the recipient of the Caribbean Commandant's Medal for Service during the recovery efforts after Hurricane Tomas in 2011 and the St. Lucia Cadet Corps Medal of Long Service. In 2012, Her Excellency Dame Paulette Louise, as Governor General of St. Lucia, appointed him to act as commander for a period of 1 year. During that year, he took the opportunity to lay down a new direction and vision for the Corps. He also served on a special advisory committee which was set up to investigate the affairs and operations of the Cadet Corps. On November 1st, 2013, he was promoted to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel and appointed Commandant of the St. Lucia Cadet Corps. From 2019, as Commandant, Lieutenant Colonel Hyacinth served as Deputy Chairman of the Caribbean Commandants Association, and a year later, he assumed the chairmanship. Since then, Lieutenant Colonel Hyacinth has championed the cause of bringing together the training programs of the region via a virtual platform. As Commandant, he serves as chairperson of the NEMO Supplies Committee, which also places him to respond to disasters, including the Dominica Relief and the La Soufriere volcano eruption in St. Vincent. Lieutenant Colonel Hyacinth holds a bachelor's degree in furniture production management. He's currently a lecturer in the Building Technology Department at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. For 37 years of outstanding and meritorious service to the St. Lucia Cadet Corps, Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Hyacinth is awarded the National Service Medal. Elfridge Williams. For outstanding and meritorious service to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, the government and the people of St. Lucia. Special Reserve Woman Police WPC number 94, Elfridge Williams, was enlisted into the Royal St. Lucia Special Reserves on August 19, 1981. Ms. Williams, when called out to perform duties by the Commissioner of Police, shows a commitment and desire to perform her duties with a high level of responsibility and commitment to perform. It would seem to an onlooker that she is on duty 7 days a week. So devoted is she to her duty of being on patrol. Although she is small in stature, she is said to be a giant on the streets of Castries, and her mere presence serves as a deterrent to potential crime. Her current administrative sergeant for the past 12 years speaks glowingly of her punctuality and devotion for duty. For outstanding and meritorious service to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, the government and people of St. Lucia, Ms. Elfridge Williams is awarded the National Service Medal.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, our orators. Ladies and gentlemen, we've now concluded the award categories which comprise the Order of St. Lucia. We'll take a little break, and when we return, we will take care of the Public Services Long Service Awards, which traditionally are honored in this investiture ceremony. So at this point, I am very pleased to invite to the stage, and I'm looking around for one of our, okay, my era. I knew the Royal St. Lucia Police Band was here to do a little more than the national anthem this afternoon. So ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome the Royal St. Lucia Police Band. Well, that is a nice, spirited, and appreciative applause. I was a little worried a little early on. I thought after a little while the applause was ebbing, and I thought perhaps I should encourage you to put a little elbow grease into the applause. So I'm really happy to see you energized. You know, when the band started to play, I looked around and I saw that only the priest was moving. And I was quite alarmed. I thought that was a little strange. And then I looked again and I saw, thankfully, the Minister for Culture was showing a little appreciation for this very spirited and excellent delivery this afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We do love and we do need the national anthem, but we are essentially folk people, and that wakes us up. Thank you very much. And now we move on to the Public Service Awards. And in respect of the St. Lucia Public Service Award, the award is conferred this year on Victor Poyot and Catherine Jean-Baptiste. The St. Lucia Teaching Service Award to Norma Mary Bartlett Maynard and Remis Anthony, and in respect of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force Awards, the following persons are awarded: Inspector of Police Licenta Daisy Dolor and Superintendent of Police Patrick Scholar.
The Public Services Long Service Award, St. Lucia Public Service, Victor Poyot. Mr. Victor Poyot is an exceptionally skilled public administration expert with more than 38 years of professional experience in the public service, augmented by more than 20 years of regional and international consultancy practice. Having received a Bachelor's of Science and a Master's of Science degree in Public Administration in 1981 and 1986 from the University of the West Indies and the University of Columbia, respectively. He has had a professional career distinguished by his stellar record in administrative reform in St. Lucia and several other countries of the region. Notably, his record of achievements in administrative reform in St. Lucia spans 3 decades, from 1983 to 2013, and includes, amongst others, development of a government and management model for the health sector. He led the reconstructing of the government printing department to establish the National Printing Corporation. He was also noteworthy in the areas of public service regulation, developed a human resource development strategy for vocational training, scholarships, and accreditation. Mr. Victor Poyot's career in the public service is distinguished by a high degree of professionalism, including attention to detail and thoroughness in analysis and policy recommendations. This is demonstrated by the several institutions and legal and regulatory frameworks he helped create and establish during his career. For more than 3 decades of outstanding contributions to the public service, Mr. Victor Poyot is awarded the St. Lucia Public Services Long Service Award. Congratulations, Mr. Poyot. Catherine Jean-Baptiste. Catherine Jean-Baptiste. Catherine Jean-Baptiste began her tenure with the government of St. Lucia in 1969 after completing her education at the St. Joseph's Convent. She was first employed as an accounts clerk in the then Ministry of Communications and Works, where her position was rotated between the main office on the waterfront as well as the satellite office at Union. In the 1970s, Ms. Jean-Baptiste was employed in accounts and administration at the then VG Airport. She also provided services to the technical staff in the tower when the need arose. Ms. Jean-Baptiste was promoted to the post of accountant within the Ministry of Planning, where she was known for being meticulous about her work on the recurrent and capital budgets for the said agency. She was again promoted to a finance position in the Ministry of Finance and Planning, where her meticulous attention to detail garnered the attention of her supervisors, who sought her skills and opinion in the preparation of the overall capital budget for the government of St. Lucia. Ms. Jean-Baptiste had a brief stint at the Ministry of Finance as a financial analyst. Ms. Jean-Baptiste retired from the employment of the government of St. Lucia in 2006. Post-retirement, she has had several contractual engagements with the Ministries of Planning and Housing until 2015. And this noteworthy that everybody recognizes that whoever worked with Ms. Jean-Baptiste found her extremely efficient, helpful, and consistent in the execution of her duties. She always found creative ways to address and solve problems in the workplace. For 36 years of commitment to the public service, Ms. Catherine Jean-Baptiste is awarded the St. Lucia Public Services Long Service Award. And her daughter, adopted daughter, Valencia Mora, will be collecting the award on her behalf. Thank you. Congratulations once again. Congratulations. St. Lucia Teaching Service, Norma Marie Barlett Maynard. Norma Marie Barlett Maynard's career in the teaching service began in 1969, where she taught at the Vide-Bouteille Combined School before pursuing the teacher training program at the Teachers College for a period of 2 years at Montfortune. Subsequently, Mrs. Maynard returned to the Vide-Bouteille Primary School for an additional 2-year period before pursuing studies in household science, economics in Jamaica and Bath University in England. On her return from studies, she taught food and nutrition and the consumer resource management at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College for 21 years. Over the years, Mrs. Maynard has co-authored over 7 books. Mrs. Maynard retired from the teaching profession in 2011. For 42 years of meritorious service in the teaching profession, Miss Norma Mary Bartlett Maynard is awarded the St. Lucia Public Services Long Service Award. Congratulations. Congratulations. Ramise Anthony. Mrs. Ramise Anthony's career in the teaching service began in 1962 at the Micoud Primary School. She then moved on to the Micoud Secondary School, and at the time of her early retirement in 2006, she served as principal at the Micoud Secondary School. Given her passion for imparting knowledge, after retirement, she continued to serve as a lecturer in language and communications at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, Southern Campus. Mrs. Anthony has facilitated a number of workshops for both primary and secondary school teachers, such as Organization for Cooperation in Overseas Development, Orientation for New Teachers, CAMDO reading workshops for primary school teachers, to name a few. Mrs. Anthony has held the position of Chief Examiner in English for the Common Entrance and Common Middle examinations. Additionally, she served as coordinator at the National Enrichment and Learning Program for the Mico District and project coordinator for the St. Lucia Family Learning Program. Ms. Anthony is remembered for a high level of professionalism and competency displayed throughout her teaching years, and as one who exudes confidence and poise. She has undoubtedly left a mark on the growth and development of many, both personally and professionally. For 44 years of meritorious service to the teaching profession, Ms. Remise Anthony is awarded the St. Lucia Public Services Long Service Award. Congratulations.
The Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Inspector of Police, Lucia Desir Dolor. Lucia Desir Dolor is an inspector of police who enlisted into the service on October 22, 1990. During her tenure, she was assigned to units such as the Drug Unit, Central Police Station, and the Criminal Investigations Department. The majority of her service, however, has been at the Police Force Academy, where she has been assigned from the rank of corporal to date. She has acted in the capacity of Assistant Superintendent of Police and has been the commander of the training school for many years. She is best known for her strict disciplinary standards and as a consequence has been impactful in the quality of recruitment which has been achieved under her stewardship. She is also a skilled drill instructor and has led the female platoon of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force with distinction at major ceremonies such as the Independence Day Parade and state funerals. Inspector Desir Dolor is a committed individual who set the highest standards for not only herself, but recruits and other officers. She was part of a transformation at the Academy, which resulted in standard operating procedures for various police-related training. Through the years, she pursued academic qualifications for herself and encouraged all officers who she encountered to do the same. She has served on various committees, including the Promotions Committee, where her wealth of knowledge was imparted in the process of upgrading junior ranking officers. She is highly respected in the organization, not only as a stellar police officer, but also as a strong representative for outstanding female leadership. Her gender has never been viewed as a limitation, and she has proven so time and time again through her ability to excel in all areas of policing. For 31 years of outstanding service to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, Inspector of Police, Lucia Desir Dolor, is awarded the St. Lucia Public Services Long Service Award. Superintendent of Police, Patrick Scholar. Superintendent of Police Patrick Scholar enlisted into the Royal St. Lucia Police Force on October 22, 1990. During his tenure, he has served in areas such as the Marshall Police Station, Criminal Investigations Department, the Major Crimes Unit, Financial Investigations Authority, FIA. Most of his service was dedicated to the transformation of fraud and financial investigations in the organization. He was seen as a guru in this regard, having brought resolution to many challenging cases which otherwise may never have been concluded. For his expertise in these matters, he was seconded to the FIA, where he served diligently for many years, continuing with his investigative brilliance and contributing towards the seizure of large sums of money from individuals found wanting. Not only was he a remarkable investigator, he imparted his knowledge on many other officers, which continues to be a credit to the force's investigation. He is instrumental in the current structure of the Major Crimes Unit, where he served, ushering in the major case investigation style for financial matters and other matters presented to the unit. Mr. Scholar's accomplishments have been registered not only internally, he has also been commended by external agencies. He has left a mark on the organization he served, which is incomparable. For 31 years of outstanding service to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, Superintendent of Police Patrick Scholar is awarded the St. Lucia Public Services Long Service Medal.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we take a planned detour and a change of pace. Please help me welcome on stage an award-winning musician of international repute and himself a fellow in the Order of St. Lucia, no less than the St. Lucia Medal of Honor, Gold, Mr. Ronald Hinkson.
Thank you. Thank you. That was Tima Mayan, Chanson Mayan, from one of our brilliant composers, the late, great Charles Cadet. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all the recipients this afternoon, and it's an honor for me to be here today, and I want to say that this exercise today is a great example to our young people, to our youth. And it's only disappointing that I don't see some young people here to honor these great St. Lucians this afternoon. I want to do a song that is about 20 years old. I'm sure you've heard it before, but I keep reinventing it because I think it is very profound, and I will keep doing it and repackaging it until such time that the message in it creates the impact that I want in our country, because it's important to us and to our youth. Please help me welcome on stage Miss Krista Bailey to do The Power of Example.
To point our fingers at children. Things go wrong, we blame them. Still they got to take over sometime in the future. What they do when in control depends on the character we mold. So before we cast judgment, listen to my comment. If we lie, our children know we cannot hide. Our children know the power of example. As our children so. If we cheat, our children know well what we taught. Our children know the power of example. As our children so. Sometimes we criticize another. If something causes us bother, it's often the same trait. Within ourselves we hate. But instead of looking inwardly, we choose to bash somebody hard. Our young generation steal, our children know. And if we kill, our children know the power of example has our children so. If we're corrupt, our children know. Abusing children, well, that's they know the power of example has our children so. Now is our time to feed their minds with something better. We'll change our future, build our new world. So when we laugh, our children know we choose life. Our children know the power of example as our children so. We're good at hearts. Our children know they learn what we taught. Our children know the power of example as our children so.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ronald Hinkson, and this minstrel, whose name, forgive me, Krista Bailey. At 58, I find I struggle with issues of memory, and I wish I could go to MNC and buy something about it, for it. Anyway, thank you very much, Mr. Hinkson, and I am just so pleased at the selection of this song. This is an original composition by Ronald Bo Hinkson. I mean, we're 42 years old as a nation, and if you can imagine the body of musical work that is wholly and fundamentally and essentially and unapologetically St. Lucian, we have been able to amass as a young nation. I think all of us would stand up and dance a jig, but we do have that significant body of work, and Bo Hinkson has contributed significantly to that body of work. And perhaps this may not be the best forum, but one of the things I lament is perhaps we need to look at how we develop the music art form, in as much as we are producing a lot of novel rhythms, you know, that are good and that can stand on their own internationally. But are we failing to develop good, solid songwriters? There has to be something wrong when all the new music we produce is about body parts. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall continue. We shall continue. And let me call the orators. We will go into the awards in respect of the St. Lucia ANC Ports Authority for Ports Police, awarded to Corporal Rudy Auguste and Constable Anthony Solomon. Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Small. We have some really positive examples here, so that's a good thing. St. Lucia and Seaports Authority, Ports Police, Corporal Rudy Auguste. Corporal Rudy Auguste was enlisted on the Port Police Constabulary on March 10, 1990. The same year, he got enrolled at the Police Training School in Natok, where he received formal police training for a period of 6 months. Upon completion, he was assigned to the Southern Division of the Port Police Department, where he has continued to serve at the Uranora International Airport and the Vieux-Fort Seaport. During his years of service, Corporal Rudy Auguste has received training in a wide range of areas, including civil aviation security, maritime security, law enforcement, mass casualty management, supervisory management, and customer service, which has enabled him to carry out his duties professionally and with dignity. Corporal Auguste was promoted to his present rank in June 2005. He has since acted in the rank of sergeant on several occasions where he performed creditably. He continues to deliver his duties and responsibilities with a high level of zeal and commitment. Corporal Ogis is a very dependable and industrious team member on the Port Police Constabulary. He gets along well with his supervisors and other members of staff. He's particularly keen on coaching and mentoring junior officers as they come on board, influencing their personal growth and development in the organization. An advocate for quality work and staff discipline, he often sets high standards for himself and his subordinates. For his 32 years of committed, dedicated, and reliable service to the St. Lucia Port Police Constabulary, Corporal number 95, Rudy Ogist, is being awarded the Public Services Long Service Medal. Constable Anthony Solomon. Port Police Constable number 128, Anthony Solomon, was enlisted in the Port Police Department on October 26, 1990, and was subsequently enrolled at the Royal St. Lucia Police Force Academy, where he received initial police training. He was assigned to the Northern Division of the Port Police Department, where he has served with a high level of commitment. Over the years, Constable Solomon has received training in a wide range of areas, including international civil aviation security, maritime security, law enforcement, and customer service, which he skillfully applies in the execution of his daily policing duties. Constable Solomon has acted in the rank of corporal on several occasions at the Castries Seaport and the George F.L. Charles Airport. During his years of service, his attendance record has been impeccable, which makes him a highly dependable member of staff. He has been flexible, yet resolute in the line of duty, amplifying the highest values of the Port Police Department. He is also well respected by his supervisors and subordinates, reflective of his high level of discipline and the high standards which he sets for himself and those working under his supervision. His work ethic and standards have been exemplary, irrespective of whether he serves at the rank of constable or corporal. One of his greatest attributes is his dedication and commitment to his duties. He leads by example and has maintained a positive work relationship with his co-workers and other employees of SLASPA. For his 31 years of dedicated service and commitment to the St. Lucia Port Police Department, Port Police Constable Anthony Solomon is awarded the St. Lucia Public Services Long Service Award.
St. Lucia Fire and Emergency Services, Station Officer Elvin Segis. Station Officer Elvin Segis' entry into the St. Lucia Fire Service began on September 6, 1988 at the age of 20. He has trained as many as 331. Segis in fire, let me read that again. He was trained as fireman 331. Segis in fire, suppression, breathing apparatus, air consumption, ladder training, and basic first aid, to name a few. Having achieved best theoretical, basic first aid, he has been awarded this Award because he was an overall practical student. It positioned him as the best all-round rookie firefighter, which equipped him with the necessary capacity, building skills to develop and serve the mandate to save life and property. Mr. Segis has worked from Vieux-Fort Fire Station to the south to Dennery Fire Station in the east, Fire Service Headquarters in the capital, George Charles Fire Hall, and Groselet Fire Station, really using the cardinal points to demonstrate or outline the path selected towards his success in the department. He led with humility and distinction during his tenure and ultimately rose through the ranks to attain the rank of station officer. He received his first promotion as leading firefighter in 1993, then was awarded the title Worker of the Year in 2004. He was later promoted to sub-officer in 2005, and in 2018 was further promoted to station officer. Station Officer Segis, apart from being in the first cohort of trained emergency medical technicians in the fire services, had been trained in several other disciplines. Station Officer Segis has successfully navigated through his 34-year career, committed to the pursuit of life, safety, and property conservation to the people of St. Lucia. Mr. Segis is truly worthy of sincere commendation for his decades of invaluable and stellar service. For 34 years of outstanding service to the St. Lucia Fire and Emergency Services, Station Officer Elvin Segis is awarded the St. Lucia Public Services Long Service Award. Assistant Divisional Officer Crescent Elgar James. Mr. Crescent Elgar James joined the St. Lucia Fire Service on November 2nd, 1987. He was promoted to leading fireman on December 1st, 2005. He attained the ranks of subordinate officer on September 1st, 2015, and station officer on January 1st, 2018. His current post of assistant divisional officer was bestowed upon him on May 13th, 2019. In 2011, Mr. James also acted in the post Fire Investigator 1 for a short stint and also acted divisional officer in 2020 and 2021. During his tenure in the department, he worked at the Fire Service Headquarters and Dennery Fire Station in the capacity of fireman. As he made it up the ranks, he worked at Dennery, Groselet, and VG at the rank of leading fireman. He also worked at Dennery, Crash Fire Hall, and Vieux-Fort Fire Station as subordinate officer and station officer. His most recent designation was Assistant Divisional Officer in charge of the Southern Division. Mr. James also served as a fire service instructor at the Fire Service Training School, where he imparted his firefighting knowledge to subordinates during scheduled training programs. Mr. James also undertook the following fire-related courses, amongst others: Firefighters Refreshers Course, Airport Emergency Planning Course, Fire Inspection and Code Enforcement. For 34 years of outstanding service to the St. Lucia Fire and Emergency Services, Assistant Divisional Officer Crescent Elgar James is awarded the St. Lucia Public Services Long Service Award.
Our final division today, ladies and gentlemen, the St. Lucia Prisons Service. Correctional Officer, Josephat Donat. Correctional Officer 2, Josephat Donat, began his career in Her Majesty's Prison as a prison officer in 1995. On September 30th, 2002, he was appointed as a Correctional Officer 1 at the Bordelais Correctional Facility. Prior to his transfer to the Bordelais Correctional Facility, he was attached to the Boys Training Center. Mr. Donat has been attached to several units at the facility, including the 1st Escort Team, where he was responsible for managing inmates safely and humanely, while minimizing risk to themselves, staff, and the general public. During his time in the service, Mr. Donat successfully completed numerous in-service training courses, including conflict management, first aid, personal safety and riot drills, close protection and management and fish pond and best practices. Mr. Donat also spearheaded the facility's hot pepper project, which turned out to be a success due to his impeccable skills in agriculture. Mr. Donat is very knowledgeable in the field of corrections and has gained a thorough understanding of all aspects of the job. Mr. Donat possesses a very sound character and must be commended for his cognitive ability to detect and dissolve potentially problematic situations. Mr. Donat was later promoted to Correctional Officer 2 on May 6, 2019. He can be described as a hardworking individual who takes pride in his work. He is an outstanding supervisor with excellent interpersonal skills and has proven that he can be relied upon to accomplish any given task. For 25 years of outstanding service to the St. Lucia Prison Services, Correctional Officer 2, Josephat Donat is awarded the St. Lucia Public Services Long Service Award. Correctional Officer 1, Pius Octave. We'll still read his citation. Is anyone here to collect on his behalf? Mr. Pius Octave joined Her Majesty's Prison on August 15, 1990, where he served as a prison officer. On August 20th, 1990, he signed the Declaration of Candidate for Situation in Prison Service, which he upholds to this day. He underwent formal training at the Royal St. Lucia Police Training School from July 1995 to December 1995. In September 2002, he was appointed to Correctional Officer 1 and later attached to the Boys Training Center to provide security assistance to that facility. During his time in the service, Mr. Octave pursued courses with the South Louis Community College in Introduction to Sociology and Introduction to Psychology, which he successfully completed. He also pursued a number of in-service training courses. Mr. Octave has the personality. Mr. Octave's personality is the perfect fit for this type of work. He relates well to both staff and inmates. His concern for the well-being of all inmates is evident in his approach to their rehabilitation. He is a dedicated officer who has proven himself without a shadow of a doubt that he has the ability to work independently and well. Mr. Octave performed the role of shift supervisor on the night shift on numerous occasions in the absence of the incumbent and has performed these duties very effectively. For 31 years of outstanding service to the St. Lucia Prison Service Correctional Officer 1, Pius Octave is awarded the St. Lucia Public Services Long Service Medal. Congratulations to all recipients. Here ends the job of the orators.
I heard a little conversation in the back there that the orators thought perhaps they might make a petition to His Excellency that orators should take temporary membership with the trade union going forward. But, you know, we are at the end of the official part of the ceremony, and I want you to welcome on stage Ms. Barbara Cadet, who will once again, she will serenade the recipients this afternoon, and I'm reliably informed that it was my ignorance that Barbara Cadet is well ensconced in the St. Lucia Order, and she, I think, is a fellow in the Order of St. Lucia of Merit Gold. Gold! Gold, ladies and gentlemen, gold!
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barbara Cadet. Ladies and gentlemen, you may now exhale. Though we have not quite crossed over, we are indeed at the finish line. And it is now my pleasure, no doubt yours also, that because your Sunday lunch is perhaps now a fading memory, to call to the stage the chairperson of the committee, a member of the committee, Mr. Wilbert King, to do what is left to be done to move the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Your Excellencies, Honorable Prime Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the hour draws nigh. Permit me just a few moments to fittingly thank those persons who have contributed to such a fine investiture ceremony. It is always very comforting when we plan an action, execute it, and the intent is satisfied. We are all here this evening participating in a joyful and a satisfying ceremony. But we may not have given a thought to the probability that, though invited, we may not have been able to attend. Why? Because we have limited control over our immediate environment. The states of nature are beyond our control, and the destiny defines its own realm. I'm saying all this to indicate that in expressing thanks to all the subjects here this evening, I will begin by giving thanks to one who is ever present, the Almighty, for his graces in letting us see this day and to be part of this celebration. We have absolutely no idea of the hour when the bells will toll for any of us. So let us enjoy the moment. Your Excellency, as Chancellor, I trust that you are satisfied with the tenor of the proceedings. And we thank you for your leadership, hospitality, and your presence. We offer similar gratitude to Your Excellency, Mrs. Charles. You have been a model of poise, patience, and perseverance, as we thank you for distinguishing us with your presence. Although the Honorable Prime Minister is not seated at the head table, he is within the audience today, his office plays a pivotal supporting role. And for this, we thank you also, sir, for the confidence reposed in the awards committee to review nominations and to make suitable recommendations. We note this evening that we have quite a number of parliamentarians here with us, which normally is not the case. So we would like to express our appreciation and thanks for your presence, and no wonder I believe you are here to lend support to your constituents who perhaps are recipients of awards this afternoon. and this is highly commendable. We also acknowledge the efforts of the Platform Party for their role in today's proceedings, more specifically to Madam Committee Chair and Madam Chair of Proceedings. We say, job well done. The long hours have paid off, and your choice of orators is above and beyond reproach. Both ladies have done us proud. We also would like to thank all committee members, both past and present, who have contributed to the work of the National Awards Committee to help it achieve its stated mandate. The Government House team and staff, we say bravo, not only to those on stage, but also those behind the scenes, both today and in the weeks just past. Equally, we thank our event producer, Dr. Adrian Auger, and the Landmark Events team for their diligence, professionalism, and production expertise. We acknowledge gratefully the Royal St. Lucia Police Band, both officers and conductor, along with our great performers, Ronald Bohingson and Barbara Cadet. To our NTN media team, powered by Flo, and the rest of the tech squad on sound, lighting, stage, and infrastructure, linking us to the world, we offer sincere thanks, and here we include our ushers from the Ministry of External Affairs, who all have functioned admirably. Also, within our audience are the thousands of people who are watching on various platforms across St. Lucia and around the world. Also, we thank all our invited guests who have graced us with their presence here this afternoon. Finally, to our awardees and their families, we pray you wear your honors well, be exemplars as you have been exhorted to do. Continue to make us proud. I hope I did not leave anybody out, but just in case I did, I would say thank you to everyone else. Madam Chair, I believe I have completed my task. I now ask for permission to resume my seat. Thank you very much.
Leave is granted, Mr. King. So we've crossed the finish line, ladies and gentlemen. The medals adorn the victors. They are no vanquished to be counted, famished perhaps, but not vanquished. But we must bring this program to a fitting close. And I'd now like to call on Ms. Malika Compton, who's from the committee, to present a bouquet to Her Excellency, Mrs. Anicia Charles. And now I think we will close with the national anthem of St. Lucia. Thereafter, the recipients will process, and they will be accompanied by Assistant Superintendent Mr. Reynold Fenelon. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of St. Lucia.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as their Excellencies Mr. Errol Charles and Mrs. Anicia Charles make their way out, followed by the Prime Minister and members of the platform party. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause as our 2022 award recipients also exit across the forecourt to their official group photo. And now the awardees exit to the forecourt. Other distinguished guests, please make your way to the right via the garden to the side lawn for the official investiture reception. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you. Once again, awardees, please proceed to the forecourt for the official group photo.
country, the best we have to give. We feel so proud to be St. Lucia, in paradise we live. And we all have to work together to serve the land we love. Wherever you may roam,